Oh. Ah. Ew. Ah. Part 2 of the wrap prep has begun. So the worst part is coming to an end. All the sanding, all the filling, all the, sanding. And I can finally start spraying some gloss and some paint and just getting it ready to wrap. So let's go on this journey together. I have some extra red here that I'm not going to use because it's a bad color. And I'm going to put this on different areas of the car where I've prepped it to see what kind of imperfections are still left. Wrap the body and it would look just so perfect and beautiful, and then I would start applying the wrap and these little things would show up that I couldn't see. I mean, granted, my eyes are not like I don't have the most amazing vision, but it would boggle my mind. And at that point, after you've laid a big piece of wrap and you come across an imperfection, it's really difficult, if not impossible, to remedy that without just ruining the whole thing, which I did. I wasted so much wrap just trying to fix all these little things. So having some leftover red wrap, I thought, well, I'm going to cut off all these little squares and I'm going to put them on the places that I've repaired so I can see how much actually pops through. And there were definitely areas that I found that I totally forgot to fill. So I would go back and fill that. There's areas that would pop out and it's quite apparent once you lay the wrap on. So I would have to sand it down again, have to, wash it obviously. And then I would reapply the wrap and voila, it would be magic. There would be, you couldn't even tell anything was ever wrong with the car. So it is like, it's a little bit on the OCD side, but it's worth it. Like the wrap that I'm buying this time around, it's not matte black. It's an expensive wrap. This wrap was costing me double what the other one cost me for my Mustang. So I want to really try avoid ruining any pieces. And this is my baby. It's my baby. So I just go along really the entire car with these little patches of wrap. The one thing about doing what I'm doing right now, where you're applying wrap, checking the imperfections and then peeling it off, do not let that wrap sit on those imperfections. Put the little wrap patch on, check for the smoothness and then peel it off gently. If you leave the wrap pieces on the car and then peel them off later, guess what? They will rip up your primer or maybe part of the paint since it's an old car. And I, again, learned that the painfully excruciating way. Putting little wrap pieces on the primered areas, or the unfinished areas, I should say, also just kind of reinforce the fact that I need to put a gloss coat on the car before I wrap it. As you put that wrap on anything that's unfinished, unpainted, or primered, and you pull it up, it comes off like butter. So imagine like wrapping a whole panel and then something slightly peeling off and then the whole thing just like coming off. It's disheartening to say the least. So again, that's why I primer and then do a clear coat for the longevity of the wrap. The bottom lip is an aftermarket bottom lip that I got. The one that was stock on the car was beat to hell. After a while, I guess my dad just didn't care about, angling down driveways, and the thing was just, it was shredded on the bottom. So I attached this aftermarket one that I got from Jigs, I believe, and the fit was tight. It was a bad experience for sure installing that. I had to grind some pieces down, cut some pieces away. I ended up cutting my hand open because the wrench kind of slipped off and squished my hand, and my other hand was like stuck behind the car. So I just kind of like froze there and had to like take this wrench out. By the time I opened the wrench out, my hand was cut. So it was a sucky experience. Anyways, long story short, it's an unfinished, unprimed, unpainted bumper. Wrap will not stick to this. It also has a lot of rough spots, so I had to go around it. I had to sand it with an automatic sander. I had to do some hand sanding. I had to do some primer, some filling, some smoothing out the cracks. I got it to a point where I'm happy with it. By no means is it perfect, but I think that I'm satisfied with it, and that's really the most important part, right? When you know you did your best. So moving on, the rear taillights, I'm removing all of those. These were $350 a piece from Screaming Chicken. I still have the old ones in my garage. I'm trying to sell them on OfferUp at some point, but I need to list them. And so I'm removing the inner panels here to get to the back nuts of the lights. Once I get the lights removed, I roll them up and keep them nice and safe and tucked away in my garage. Again, making sure to like label all of the bolts so I don't miss anything. I also remove the license plate bracket. I clean around that area as much as I possibly can. It's it's pretty filthy. I don't even know how I'm gonna fit wrap back there, but again, I'm gonna do my best. There's this little light, the trunk light that you have to remove, otherwise the battery will go dead, and it gets hot so fast. The moment I touched it, I seared my thumb. So that was annoying. I blame my neighbors for talking to me and distracting me, even though it's not really their fault. It's my fault for being an idiot. There are, inside the light housing, there is the license plate light, which is a little annoying to get to because you have to like reach your hand through this little hole and kind of pop it out. Then there's the reverse lights, the brake lights, the turn signals. There's quite a few lights in here that need to just twist and pop out. And then once I have them out, I tape them up and hide them away from anything that might, damage them. Because again, those LED lights, those are so expensive, but so worth it. To wrap it right, there's no doubt about it, I've got to remove the rear spoiler. I might not be putting this original rear spoiler back on. I got this bitchin' kick-ass 5-inch spoiler. I ordered it from, I want to say Duraflex, maybe? Anyways, when it arrived, I knew right out of the box that the quality was garbage, and it was like $500. It wasn't cheap. I tried to reach out and, return it. That wasn't happening. So I'm gonna attempt it again. I'm going to sand it and see if I can get just a better fit. If I, we'll see how it goes. Ideally, I really want that high wing in the back because I've got that big hood scoop, so I think that high wing in the back and the hood scoop in the front provides this like visual balance, and it will just look sick. Hawks just started selling a new 5-inch wing, and it's Hawks quality, so You know, they've got great stuff. I just don't want to buy another one, and they're not cheap. Again, they're probably like another $400 or $500. So I don't know, we'll see what happens, but you know.
With the spoiler off, I can obviously wrap it much better. I had removed that spoiler a long time ago, and I lost some bolts. The good news is when I took the license plate off, I found one of the bolts. I think I found the one that I was missing.
The little corners of these wings, first you think that you need to like reach in and or like borrow a toddler's hand and get the toddler to reach in and undo the bolts. No, 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 my friends. The engineers at Chevy add these little holes under the hood spoiler area. So all you gotta do is stick a little ratchet up there and they come right out. Easy peasy. As long as you've got the lights removed. Alright, so there it is. The whole car prepped and ready. Now we just gotta tape it off and towel it off and we can start to paint this thing. Before any kind of priming can happen, we do have to, you know, clean it really well. And as I was cleaning it, I did find some more rough spots, so I just kind of gave it a nice little wet sand. I got it silky smooth and then washed it again just to make sure that there were no contaminants that were going to, you know, stick under the primer or the clear coat.
I'm almost ready to start wrapping the car, but I want to make sure that the red that I got is the red that I want to live the next 5 to 7 years with. So at the top of the list is Via Corsa red or Via Rosa red, something like that, and it's my favorite so far. The next one I ordered was this bright red. It's like a racing red, way too orange, not gonna happen. And then I just experimented with this, it's called liquid metal red, so it's like a kind of like a candy paint metallic red. So I'll put all 3 of them on the car and we'll see which one. This candy one's kind of cool, but I don't know if it's my style.
Whoa, one thing about this wrap is it's definitely harder to work with than the matte black wrap. The gloss wrap, you know, that's okay, that wasn't that hard. But this one wrap that I'm testing the waters with, this liquid metal wrap, it's thinner, it wrinkles faster, it's harder to work with. It doesn't even feel as nice quality as the other wrap, and it's the same company. The one thing that I do love about these gloss wraps is that it comes with a, they call it a cap, so it's got this thin like saran wrap coating on it, which helps protect it as you're squeegeeing it and, you know, working with it to get it on the car. And after you're done applying it, you remove this thin layer and it's extremely satisfying, and it also like it leaves this beautiful glossy finish. So that's really cool.
I just don't know which one I'm gonna pick. Kind of leaning towards this one right now because it doesn't appear as orange, but I got some thinking to do. With sanding and then some sanding and then more sanding out of the way, it's finally time to start spraying primer on the car. I've been standing here for 17 minutes figuring out a game plan. I've got one down, so let's go.
All right, so taping off everything that needs to be taped off, you know, door handles, any kind of seals and trim. I had replaced all of the trim, the door trim, the window trim. The only thing that I have not replaced yet is the hatchback trim, which I have. And when I say trim, I'm talking about like the rubber seals. So I haven't replaced that yet. I'm just gonna wait until after I'm done wrapping the car. But, you know, I definitely want to protect my tires and everything, and, you know, I don't want primer and stuff on my beautiful car. Well, it will be beautiful.
This is gonna be my first time using this stuff. I read reviews on it. It's supposed to be like mind-blowing. So we'll see. I'm just gonna spray the parts that I filled, patched, and anything that's not gray or red. So that means all the Bondo areas or the filler areas, and then just the bumper, since it's got nothing on it. So fantastic professional high build primer, fills imperfections and sand smooth for metal, fiberglass, wood, and more. Shake for 20 minutes.
This primer actually is really nice. The nozzle was a little bit annoying. It kept getting clogged, so you have to like clean it off every, you know, few sprays. But it had really good coverage. It sanded down really easily. It was a bit on the expensive side. I don't think that I would spend the money and go for this one again. But it, you know, it was cool. It wasn't bad. Can't really complain.
I like to take alcohol breaks. I wish someone sees this and sees me outside working. I won't refuse the alcohol. I won't refuse it if you bring me a shot. I'll do a shot with you. Wouldn't that be great? And like some truffle fries. Some truffle fries. And like a steak with a béarnaise sauce. Oof. Steak with béarnaise sauce.
The primer just kind of makes it have somewhat of a finished look to it. It's kind of like the calm before the storm, because after the primer was dried and I gave it another little sand and a little wash, so I went ahead and I sprayed all of the red into the seams, which made the car look just like the Joker. And after that was dry, I went around and anything that was matte or dull, I painted a clear coat on. So it wasn't, I only used one can of clear coat, because I just did it on the spots that were not, that were not shiny. And again, that's just to bring the surface, you know, glossy enough where the wrap has the best chance of sticking. You know, it enhances the longevity, obviously, and the durability. Well, that does it. So the car is ready to go. I know I tested a weird orange red, I tested a rosa red, I tested a liquid metal red. What I didn't show here was that I tested a fourth red, and that fourth red stole my heart. If I could marry a wrap, it would be that wrap that I got. It's a candy red. It's got that little tiny like metal flake under the, you know, in the paint. It is so beautiful. You know, and that was the feeling that I was looking for, was like that love at first sight. You know, when I put those other reds on, they were good, I liked them, but it wasn't like, oh my god, oh god, I gotta have it. And that's the feeling that I was looking for. So next videos, as soon as I get my wrap, I'm going to have this beautiful progress coming your way. Thanks so much for watching. Alright, bye.